My evil stepmom forced my dad to choose between me or her, so I exposed her past and now she's the one who got kicked out. I never thought I'd be writing this, but I need to get this off my chest. The past few months have been absolute hell, and I'm still trying to process everything that's happened. I'm Sarah, 22F, and this whole mess started when my dad remarried 3 years ago. Mom had passed away from cancer 5 years before that, and watching Dad navigate life alone was heartbreaking. He threw himself into work, barely sleeping, barely eating. For years, our house felt like a museum of grief, filled with memories but no joy. So when he met Amanda, 35F, at a charity gala, I was thrilled to see him light up again. He started coming home earlier from work, planning date nights, and actually laughing, something I hadn't heard in years. I was so desperate to see him happy that I ignored all the warning signs with Amanda. The way she'd occasionally slip up and show her true colors, then quickly cover it with a sweet smile. The calculating look in her eyes when she thought no one was watching. Looking back, I should have trusted my gut, but I was just so relieved to see my dad smile again after Mom passed. At first, Amanda was perfect, or at least, she played the part perfectly. She'd bring me coffee during my late-night study sessions, ask about my classes with what seemed like genuine interest, and always try to include me in their date nights. "We're going to be a real family," she'd say, touching my arm gently. "I know I can never replace your mom, but I hope we can be friends." God, I cringe now thinking about how perfectly she delivered those lines. But the moment that marriage certificate was signed, it was like a switch flipped. The mask started slipping, slowly at first, then more dramatically. Suddenly, everything I did was wrong. The way I dressed, do you really think that's appropriate? How I spoke, "You're so loud," just like a child, even how I breathed seemed to irritate her. "Could you try not to sigh every 5 minutes? But she was clever about it, always making her criticisms when Dad wasn't around, always with that slight smile that made me question if I was just being oversensitive. If I tried to tell Dad, she'd twist it around, make it sound like I was the one being difficult. "Oh, James, you know how girls this age can be. I'm just trying to help her become more ladylike." I tried to keep the peace, really, I did. I was in college anyway, so I figured I could just avoid home and focus on my studies. But then last month, everything exploded. I had to move back home temporarily because my apartment complex was being renovated for asbestos removal. I had nowhere else to go, and Dad insisted I come home. Amanda was furious, but she couldn't exactly say no without looking bad. The first week was tense but manageable. Amanda would make passive-aggressive comments about how long the renovation would take, or how cramped the house felt with extra people. I ignored it all. But then she started going through my things when I wasn't home. I know because I started noticing little things out of place, my jewelry box slightly moved, papers rearranged, clothes not quite folded the way I left them. I didn't say anything at first because I didn't want to cause drama without proof. So I set up a small camera in my room, totally legal in my state as long as it's in your private space. What I caught on camera made my blood boil. Amanda wasn't just snooping, she was planting things. She'd put empty wine bottles under my bed, cigarette butts in my trash can, and even tried to hide what looked like drug paraphernalia in my closet. I couldn't believe it. My hands were shaking as I watched the footage again and again. She was methodically, deliberately trying to set me up, to make Dad think I was some kind of troubled kid who needed to be kicked out. The way she moved through my room was chilling, confident, practiced, like she'd done this before. She knew exactly where to plant things for maximum impact, exactly how to arrange everything to look like I tried to hide it. But why? What was her endgame? The question kept me up at night. I'd lay in bed, replaying every interaction we'd had, every seemingly innocent comment that now took on a darker meaning. Something wasn't adding up, and I was determined to figure out what it was. I decided to do some digging of my own. Thank God for my roommate Jenny, she's a computer science major and taught me some advanced search techniques. "If this woman's got skeletons in her closet," Jenny said, cracking her knuckles as she sat down at her laptop, "we're going to find them. Remember how I said I should have seen the red flags? Well, I started looking into Amanda's past, and boy, did I find some interesting things. It started with simple background checks, but the deeper I dug, the more disturbing the pattern became. Jenny helped me create a timeline, and as we pieced it together, my stomach dropped. This wasn't just about me, this was a carefully orchestrated long con, and my dad and I were just the latest targets. Turns out this wasn't her first rodeo. Amanda had been married twice before my dad, and both marriages ended under suspicious circumstances. She had a pattern: marry wealthy men with children, drive a wedge between father and child, then walk away with a hefty divorce settlement once the kids were out of the picture. She was a professional gold digger, and we were her latest marks. But I wasn't about to let her destroy my relationship with my dad. I gathered all my evidence, the video footage, her background check, statements from her previous stepchildren. Yes, I managed to track them down, everything. I was ready to expose her, but I wanted to be smart about it. The opportunity came sooner than I expected. Last Saturday, Amanda decided to make her big move. She burst into tears during dinner, claiming she'd found drugs in my room. Dad looked shocked, but before he could say anything, she delivered her ultimatum: it's either her or me, James. I can't live like this anymore. I'll never forget the look on Dad's face. He seemed torn, confused, and for a terrifying moment, I thought he might actually choose her. That's when I played my hand. Before you make that choice, Dad, I said, pulling out my laptop, there's something you need to see. I showed him everything: the videos of her planting evidence, the background check showing her previous marriages, the testimonies from her other stepchildren. With each revelation, Dad's face grew darker. Amanda tried to interrupt, to explain, to cry her way out of it, but the evidence was overwhelming. Get out, Dad said quietly. Amanda started to protest, but he cut her off. Get out, he roared. I'd never seen him so angry. She tried to play the victim one last time, but Dad wasn't having it. He told her he'd be contacting his lawyer first thing Monday morning, and that she'd better be gone by then. The next few hours were chaos. Amanda alternated between crying, threatening, and begging. She tried to turn it around on me, claiming I'd fabricated everything out of jealousy. But the evidence was too solid. By midnight, she had packed her essential belongings and left, promising we'd regret this. Dad and I stayed up late that night, talking. He apologized over and over for not seeing through her act, for even considering choosing her over me. I told him it wasn't his fault. Amanda was a professional manipulator. We both got played, but at least we caught it before it was too late. The next few days were a blur of legal meetings and paperwork. Dad's lawyer was impressed with the evidence I'd gathered. Apparently, it made the divorce proceedings much simpler. Amanda tried to fight it, but when faced with the possibility of her other ex-husbands testifying about her pattern of behavior, she agreed to a quick, quiet divorce. Word got out anyway, though. Amanda's carefully constructed reputation in our community crumbled. Other wealthy divorcees in town started comparing notes, and it turned out she'd been laying groundwork with several potential future husbands, all while married to my dad. Her whole house of cards came tumbling down. Last I heard, she'd moved to another state to start fresh. Good riddance. The day she left, Dad and I spent hours going through the house, opening all the windows, letting in fresh air, almost like we were trying to cleanse the space of her presence. We found things she'd hidden, documents she'd stolen, jewelry of Mom's she'd tucked away, even a burner phone with messages to what we assume were potential future targets. Each discovery was like a punch to the gut, but also a confirmation that we'd done the right thing. Dad and I are doing better now, though the healing process hasn't been easy. Some nights, I still wake up in a panic, checking to make sure my door is locked. Dad admitted he does the same thing. The betrayal left deep scars on both of us. But we're working through it together. The whole experience actually brought us closer than ever before. We're both in therapy, working through the trust issues Amanda left us with. Dr. Matthews, our family therapist, says it's normal to feel violated and that healing takes time, but she's amazed at how we've managed to turn this trauma into something positive. My apartment's renovations are done, but I've been spending more time at home anyway. Dad and I have weekly dinner dates now, something we hadn't done since Mom passed. We take turns cooking, and sometimes we just order pizza and talk for hours. Last week, we finally went through Mom's old recipe box together, something we'd both been avoiding since she died. We cried, but they were good tears, healing tears. We made her famous lasagna and shared stories about her that made us laugh until our sides hurt. The other day, Dad looked at me across the dinner table and said, "You know, you're just like your mother, smart, strong, and always looking out for this family." I almost cried. It was the first time he'd compared me to Mom since she died, and it meant everything. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that family, real family, is worth fighting for. Amanda tried to destroy our relationship, but in the end, she only made it stronger. To anyone else dealing with a toxic step-parent, trust your gut, gather your evidence, and don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. The truth is a way of coming out eventually. As for Amanda's threats about making us regret this? Well, it's been 3 months, and the only regret I have is not exposing her sooner. Dad's happier than he's been in years, I'm doing well in my final year of college, and our family, our real family, is healing. Sometimes the happy ending isn't about finding the perfect stepmother, it's about realizing you already have everything you need. Edit, wow, I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. Thank you all for the supportive comments. To answer some common questions, yes, we did file police reports about the planted evidence. No, Amanda wasn't charged because she left the state and the DA didn't think it was worth pursuing. Yes, Dad's prenup protected most of his assets. And yes, I've already warned the people in her new town through some mutual connections. I won't let her do this to another family. Update 1, you guys won't believe what happened. Remember how I mentioned Amanda moved to another state to start fresh? Well, apparently she didn't learn her lesson. One of her previous stepchildren contacted me yesterday. Amanda's trying the same scam with a wealthy widower in her new town. Except this time, the widower's daughter follows my Reddit account and recognized Amanda's pattern from my post. They've already kicked her to the curb. The stepdaughter sent me a video of Amanda's reaction when they confronted her with my Reddit post, priceless. Sometimes the internet really comes through. Karma's something else, isn't it? Update 2. It's been 2 weeks since my last update, and things have taken an unexpected turn. Amanda's apparently hired a lawyer and is threatening to sue me for defamation. She claims my Reddit post has ruined her life and damaged her reputation. The lawyer sent a cease and desist letter demanding I take down my post and issue a public apology, or they'll pursue legal action. Here's the thing though, I've got all the evidence backed up. Every video, every document, every statement from her previous victims. My dad's lawyer says her case has no merit since everything I posted is true and we can prove it. Still, it's stressful dealing with these threats. The real kicker? 2 more of Amanda's previous stepchildren have come forward after seeing my post. Turns out her pattern goes back even further than we thought. She's been doing this for over a decade, and these news stories are horrifying. One stepson shared how she actually managed to get him sent to boarding school by manipulating his father into thinking he was troubled. Another stepdaughter revealed how Amanda had stolen and sold family heirlooms that belonged to her late mother, then blamed it on her. My dad's taking this new information pretty hard. He keeps apologizing for bringing Amanda into our lives, but I keep telling him it's not his fault. We're both seeing our therapists more frequently to deal with all this. Update 3. Well, things just got even crazier. Amanda showed up at our house yesterday, completely unannounced. She was crying, claiming she'd changed and wanted to apologize. Dad wasn't home, but I had 2 friends over, thank goodness. She tried to force her way in, saying she just wanted to talk, but something felt off about the whole thing. I refused to let her in and started recording on my phone. That's when she snapped. The crying stopped instantly, and her whole demeanor changed. She started screaming about how I'd ruined everything she'd worked for, how she'd make me pay, the usual threats. But then she let something slip. She mentioned how she should have taken care of me like she did with that other brat who wouldn't shut up. My blood ran cold. What other brat? What did she mean by take care of? I kept recording as she continued ranting, and she revealed more than she probably meant to. I called the police, and they arrived just as she was trying to break one of our windows. They arrested her for attempted breaking and entering, and criminal threatening. Here's where it gets really dark. The detective who responded turned out to be investigating a cold case from 6 years ago. One of Amanda's previous stepchildren had mysteriously disappeared for 3 days and was found wandering on a highway, dehydrated and confused. The kid had claimed Amanda had locked them in a basement, but there wasn't enough evidence at the time, and nobody believed them over the perfect stepmom. The police are reopening that case now, using my recording as new evidence. They're also looking into several other suspicious incidents from Amanda's past. I can't say more about this right now because it's an ongoing investigation, but I'm cooperating fully with the authorities. Update 4. I've been hesitant to post this update because it still doesn't feel real. The police investigation into Amanda's past has uncovered something huge. Remember how I mentioned she had been married twice before my dad? Well, that was a lie. She's been married 5 times before, under different names. She's basically been running this scam across multiple states for the past 15 years. The detective told us they found a pattern of suspicious accidents and incidents involving her stepchildren across different states. Nothing they could ever prove definitively, but now that they're connecting the dots, it's painting a terrifying picture. They're building a case against her for multiple counts of fraud, identity theft, and even potential attempted murder charges related to some of those accidents. Dad's a mess. He keeps saying he can't believe he brought someone so dangerous into our home. I'm trying to stay strong for him, but honestly, I'm shaken too. Knowing how close I came to becoming another one of her victims. It's terrifying. But there's some good news too. Remember the stepson she got sent to boarding school? He's organizing a support group for all of Amanda's previous stepchildren. We've already got 8 members, and we're helping each other heal from the trauma she caused. It's amazing how much better it feels knowing you're not alone. Final update. It's been 6 months since everything came to light, and I finally feel ready to share this last update. Amanda's trial started last week. She's facing multiple felony charges across 3 states. The evidence against her is overwhelming, not just from her time with us, but from all her previous marriages and victims. The prosecutor says they're confident she'll be going away for a long time. Turns out my Reddit post did more than just warn one family, it created a domino effect that finally brought her to justice. Several of her previous stepchildren are testifying against her, sharing stories that are heartbreaking but crucial for the case. As for Dad and me, we're doing better. The therapy is helping, and we've actually started volunteering with a support group for blended families, sharing our story to help others spot the warning signs of manipulative step-parents. Dad's even started dating again, very cautiously, and this time he introduces any potential partners to me right away. We've learned that open communication is crucial. Looking back, I'm still amazed at how close we came to letting Amanda destroy our family. But in a weird way, I'm almost grateful for what happened. It made Dad and me closer than ever, helped us heal from Mom's death in a way we hadn't before, and potentially saved other families from going through what we did. To everyone who supported me through this journey, thank you. Your comments and messages gave me strength when I needed it most. And to anyone else dealing with a toxic step-parent, trust your instincts. Document everything. And don't be afraid to speak up. You never know how many others you might be helping by sharing your story.